Hi, I am James Villanueva and I am a consecrated layman, a member of Notre-Dame de Vie Institute. The history of Notre-Dame de Vie here in the Philippines happened in the 1950s when the then Bishop of Infanta Quezon, Monsignor Patrick Shanley, who was also a Carmelite priest, started to request for congregations to come over to the Philippines and help in the evangelization of the people in Infanta. But a lot of congregations were hesitating during that time because Infanta was a very poor and isolated region. But one of the first who responded was our founder, Blessed Father Marie Eugene of the Child Jesus. He is the founder of Notre-Dame de Vie, which began in Vaucluse, France, in the early 1930s. So, with God's grace, in 1954, Notre-Dame de Vie was successfully founded here in the Philippines. They held the first Mass in Infanta Quezon. It was a Christmas Mass actually. And eventually, little by little, the family grew. It started with the female members of our institute, and then it grew into three. The three branches grew in. We began having members for the male branch and also for the priests branch, and now we are already a handful here in the Philippines. Our mother house is located in Bulacan, in Angat, Bulacan, and it is also our house of solitude or our house for formation for here in Asia. Our mission is to witness to the world about the living God through our professional life and our ministry. And like for example, me personally, I work in the education sector. I work as a guidance counselor in a private school, and it is there where I witness about the living God. It is at the end of the day, it's basically how you live your life as a Christian, as someone who's been called by God. It is lived. We try to live it faithfully by by maintaining the harmony between our work, our professional life, and our life of prayer. It is a kind of a hybrid of a religious life and then a professional life in one. So we get to practice also what we get to practice our profession, and at the same time we live this life that is fully given to the Lord by virtue of our vocation. And what helps us a lot in maintaining the harmony between work and prayer is one, the initial formation that we had. It is a basic formation of 2 years away from the world, and it really helped us to anchor ourselves into prayer and in the silence and in the solitude, and it helped us reorganize our perspective in relation to our vocation and how we are called to witness to the world. And then as members who have already professed their vows, we maintain this fidelity in our vocation through our perseverance in our prayer life. So we have a daily prayer life of 2 hours, and of course we also take part in daily masses as much as we can, and also we tend to nourish our spiritual lives by coming regularly to our mother house here in the Philippines. We spend about 45 days there, 30 days continuously, and then intermittently for 15 more days during the year. And it helps us to really maintain and get in touch with the silence and the solitude that we need to really enable us to unite ourselves with God, and therefore effectively witnessing to other people. At the end of the day, it's basically us bringing God to people but we cannot do that effectively without us uniting ourselves with Him through prayer. So it is really our prayer life that really sustains our mission, and how we live our life is really the most effective way of evangelizing other people to to approach God, to believe in God, and to love Him as we love Him. Our I guess what's unique about our institute is it is made very clear to us by our founder that there is this harmony between our active life and our prayer life, and we are very much enriched by the teachings of the Carmelite saints, particularly Saint Teresa of Avila, Saint John of the Cross, and Saint Teresa of the Child Jesus, and of course the writings of our founder. And I guess it's at the end of the day, it is the joy also of living out this vocation that shines out to other people, how they can see that us being called by the Lord, set apart for a particular purpose, are happy where we are, and we communicate that joy to other people so that they may know as well the beauty of God's call and how precious it is to be loved by God in an exclusive way. We normally don't announce that we are consecrated people, but along the relationships that we forge with them, they would eventually discover that we have vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. And when we explain this to them, we try our best to put it in their own language as well, so that they will be able to understand. And most of the time, the reactions that we get are amazement and admiration, because really it takes grace to really live out that kind of vows. For us, since we are a secular institute, our mission is really the place of our work, or the place of our ministry, and we testify most effectively when people see that we maintain and we are faithful to our life of prayer and our devotion to silence, and the importance that we give to solitude. So people can also see that we are not only trying to be effective in our professional life, in our ministry, but they can also see that we devote special time to prayer, to retreats, to long retreats, and that we value so much the silence that we incorporate in our daily lives. And for us, I guess it's a kind of a subtle evangelization, wherein there are no external signs that you are consecrated to God, apart from the medallion that we wear, the medallion of Our Lady. But apart from that, there is really nothing that announces that we are here to give testimony or to evangelize. It is really how we live out this kind of vocation, how they see that we are trying to harmonize these two elements together, and making or helping other people see that it is possible with God's grace to really live out this kind of unique vocation in the world. When other people see that I devote a lot of time to prayer, all the more that they present their intentions to me, and I can see that they start to look at prayer in a different way. And they look at intercession in a different way as well. So for me, that is one way of touching the lives of other people without really, preaching to them, but showing them that prayer life really matters. And I guess that's one of the remarkable things that I notice about the people around me. Whether they chat me or they talk to me personally, they come to me for spiritual guidance. And at the same time, or most of the time, it's really about their prayer intentions. And I guess somehow this helps them to have a different take on their own prayer life and their own relationship with God. And I hope that it helps them deepen their faith in the Lord as well.
Yay!